Intro is that. Let me mute myself while y'all do that.
Hey y'all, we're on live. Let us know that you're in here. Start sending out your comments and stuff. We want to see y'all. Hey, we're gonna give y'all a couple of seconds to get on to tag somebody that needs to be on because I think it's gonna be real helpful for every person that is watching, that's tuning in. I think some of the content will be applicable. I want to just mention to you all while we're getting some housekeeping things, spread the word. Tag a few friends, tell them to get on right now. I want to talk to you about real estate with friends. I think it's going to be very helpful. But while we're getting you going, it would be great for you to go right now and register for the Increase Summit. Text Get the Bag to 407-449-8885-8884. It's on the screen. And it should shoot you a link. Grab that link, register November 9th and 10th. We have some major players coming in. Marcus Rozier, uh, his clip has just went viral about how we selling our time to our employees, 40 hours. He's the guru on online courses. It's going to be really, 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 really good. And we also have a host of other people, vice president of banking, teaching on business credit, scaling your business, marketing, a whole bunch of different things. And tonight, we're going to give you all some special incentives to register. So I want to get you going and all that. So share. We got about 60 seconds. We're about to get started. So share this out to all your friends and let's get it going. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. November 9th and 10th, there are virtual options available. You can go online and watch it from the convenience of your home. I like to be in the room because the registration that you're paying as an investment into yourself gets you in the room to meet people. And it's the connections that you make sometimes that's as valuable as the registration. So I want to kind of introduce some of the people that are online with us. We got 30 seconds. We're getting going. Tag somebody who you know needs to be on here. I think you will find it extremely helpful for you as you are as you're navigating through this space, especially if you love and are interested in learning about real estate. So we're going to give you some game. We're not going to give you all the game. Of course, you got to register. It's an investment in yourself. I don't even call it a fee. I call it an investment. Um, I realize that if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. So you got to pay to invest in yourself to pay attention. Where there's no transaction, there's no transformation. So with that being said, I have Sean Cousins. He is a project manager as well as in construction. He owns his own company, CNC Unlimited. They do renovations, they do commercial property, residential. So if you need anything done in your home, that's the man to get it done. Uh, Gene Gurian, Real Estate Full Circle on Instagram. You definitely want to check out a lot of things that he's doing. He's got a lot of free content out there, and got a property field trip coming up that's really going to help you learn hands on about the real estate piece. Burbino Lehans, he's owns a property with us in LJ, Georgia, painting with a twist. He owns two franchises. Eventually, you'll start seeing him doing some course creations on how to franchise, how does that work. He is an expert at franchising, and so you should pay for the knowledge. A lot of times, we're trying to start businesses that we don't necessarily need to start. We can buy franchises and be in a much better position than if we were just trying to start our own business and invest that capital into getting people to know who we are. So, with that being said, these individuals are on here because we are all friends. We all kind of grew up together in some sense. I met Sean from church, from the Kingdom Church. He was one of the first that was a part of our church in the storefront. I've known Burbino since I was a kid, Gene since I was a kid, and we ended up doing some interesting real estate play together. We have four parcels of land, which are each 3 acres. I own one with my brother. Burbino owns his with Sean and another brother of ours that works out with us. And Gene owns 3 acres with himself and two other partners that are part of all of our circle that vacation together. So I just want to kind of talk to the people about why real estate number one, and why not do it with people you know.
I'm gonna let y'all boys lead it on that one. Real estate in general, I don't know. Bino, you want to lead on that, Bino? Because go ahead, Bino.
Now you can take the lead on this one, Gene.
I've done several transactions with multiple people within our sphere, and I do several transactions now with a friend from high school. We do a lot of joint venture deals. Um, I do it because it releases stress on my money that I don't need, and releases strain on it that I don't need, and allows me to invest in multiple properties. And I do it only because I have a system, I have an attorney, and we put a JV agreement together. We know what each other's strengths are. Hey, this is what you're good at. This is what I'm good at. Like, I know how to manage projects. I know how to close them out. I know how to renovate them, and I know how to source the funding for it. So I just stick in my lane, and if everyone else sticks in their lane, and the project works smooth. So I just do it because it just makes sense, and I'm using other people's money, and we're bringing money together to make it work together. So it just makes sense economically. It makes sense.
Rubino, your first task, what were some of the things you kind of put together when y'all were doing y'all deal on your 3 acres? How did y'all
Well,
navigate
the,
that?
our first thing is when you're dealing with friends and in group economics, the main thing is everybody needs to be on the same page. It's not just about just going into business together, but everybody has to have the same mindset. We have to have the same timeline in what we're trying to do.
Hmm.
Um, and so for us, it really made sense because we all wanted to grow our, financially, and we all wanted to also win together. So it really makes perfect sense for us to, because we already hang out all the time. So why not also pull our money together so that we can also grow as well financially?
So, like a lot of people heard the word JV, that's what you call a joint venture. Sean, tell us a little bit about your experience when you were um, getting into a property with a group of friends. Like, how was that your first time kind of getting into the real estate space?
Well, the first time we got into it, it was really just trying a learning lesson. Like Bino said, it's more of everybody trying to get on the same page with each other. So we definitely had to iron out exactly, hey, how long do we want to have this property for? What's the goals for the property?
Yep.
What's the end goal? If we don't want to, what are our ways out? And come up with an agreement on how we want to manage the property and go forward financially. So basically, it's just basically come together with a meeting of the minds and make sure that everybody's on the same page, and you know making sure that we all have an end goal, a common end goal.
Yeah. So, for example, let me help kind of give y'all some clarity. If you have 5 friends and y'all make 60,000, y'all make 300,000 together. So it's almost better to consider the power of numbers versus just trying to do it on your own. All right,
Hmm.
y'all, that was it. Register for the Increase Summit. That's all we're gonna give y'all for now. Nah, I'm just y'all like, yo, they bugging. So no, seriously, I think it's important that you understand that real estate is the fastest way to build wealth. You're not going to build it arguably in the stock market. You're not going to build it. You're going to build it through the. I haven't met many millionaires that have made it without real estate in their portfolio. So right now, interest rates are high. Most people are afraid to buy because rates are high. But remember, rates won't stay high forever. So when people are selling, you should be buying. And when people are buying, you should be selling. Right. So Gene, let's talk about something that might help them while they're thinking about like getting to their tickets for the event.
Well, I think
Sean and Gene, how much would it cost? What are some mistakes people make when they get into buying property? Just
not buying it the right way the first time. They over calculate. So what happens is people, they're so in love with them, they're infatuated with real estate so much, and they want to do it. So they don't look at their numbers 100%. They
Yeah.
just look at, oh, I think I'm going to make this. So they overpay, which is what's happening right now in this market. The people that are, interested in real estate, they're getting burned right now. Like there's two properties that came on my plate, and I was like, I can only pay 300,000, but somebody else paid 350. How they going to exit out that property? I have no clue because the numbers didn't make sense. If the roof caves in or FHA won't allow them to sell it with a 12-year-old roof, they're not thinking of that.
Right.
So it's just going in without realizing that the numbers don't lie. The numbers are the numbers.
And I
So
think the other thing is they don't do all the homework on it. So, a lot of times when you buy a property, you also have to have money to renovate the property. So if you don't go in there with that mindset of, okay, I can buy a property, but I don't have any money to renovate it, then you just did yourself a disservice. You didn't plan right.
Barbado, your wife and yourself are experts on staging and design. Like you guys have mastered that. Like talk about the importance of like people who are trying to sell a home, the importance of how you need to present it.
Absolutely. So presentation is key, especially when it comes to selling, because you only have one opportunity to make a first impression, and really, and you have to pretty much dot your I's and cross your T's when it comes to selling. And so, the best problem to have is to have multiple people wanting your property. And so it's very important to not only design it but also stage it properly in order for you to get the return that you're looking for.
So let's talk about this piece. Most people heard the word staging, but break it down, Gene. Like, what is staging your property? Like, that should be something that people, if you have an Airbnb, if you have an
uh,
investment property, what is staging your property so you get the maximum from people to buy into it?
So staging is basically you putting out some pieces of furniture, some decorative pieces to bring out the house, the features of it. You're giving the person a picture of what they're going to buy. Maybe putting a fake TV around that wall, putting a couch positioned in one direction, and maybe just outfitting. Normally, if you stage, I normally stage the master bedroom, the living room, and the kitchen, and maybe a kid room here and there to not pay too much money to kind of give them a vision how to master bedroom, because normally the decision factor is made within the kitchen, the living room, and the master bedroom. So those are three things that I always stage if I need to, and I don't stage every house because if it's 250,000, most homes are going for. Or I'm not spending that extra money. But if it's a higher ticket and it makes sense, spend the money. Usually staging is like 3 or 4 grand, maybe 5, depending on the size of the house.
Sean, talk about the cost, the average cost. Y'all registered for the Increase Summit because we giving y'all free game because I want to give you enough for you to be like, wow, if they're giving us this for free, what is it going to be when I make the investment? And the word is investment. I don't use the word pay because it's an investment that you're making yourself. So, Sean, talk about like the cost of typical, you've done a lot of bathroom renovations. And so talk about the low end bathroom renovation versus like mid, because some people are not multimillionaires on here. And here's one thing we don't want to do is talk to you like everybody on here got 50 properties and doing like some people need basic steps to go up to the next level. And a lot of times people are just telling you how great they are. And you leave there saying, like, I can't understand. I didn't comprehend anything that was being said there.
Yeah. So I really think that you need to really think about the property first. Like as Gene said, a house that's only worth or is going to be sold for a certain value, you don't want to put too much money into a renovation because then you're just going to price yourself out. You're not going to get that return on it. So you got to first start with, hey, what is this property? What are we going to be looking to get on a return on this one? And then that's where you go for. So like a common house that's selling for below market, you're going to go with basics. Your nice standard tiles, your nice standard finishes. A new toilet, new light fixtures, you know, just standard things. And then if you have a more high-end property, then you want to go with more of a higher end, you know, look for that bathroom to make it more appealing to that buyer that's going to be spending a ton more money. So you know,
So, so can you tell us like how much per square foot are like the average square foot it costs for a person to do flooring or anything in the bathroom so they can at least have a framework on where they need to look at and begin?
Gene would probably know this number better.
Sean know how to shoot himself in the foot.
Yeah.
The average installation fee, not materials, labor should be around $2 to $275 if you're installing flooring. Now that could be LVP flooring. It could be $2 if it's tile.
LVP is
luxury vinyl.
Luxury vinyl.
Let me break it down.
Yeah.
And then if you're installing tile, that's installing, not removing your existing tile. So it's probably going to run you around $2 to $250 to install tile. Depending on the size of the tile, that might be a factor too. And if your floor is leveled all the way, I'm putting that tile on top of that tile. That's just for me. Sean probably like, nope. But if that floor leveled, I'm putting that on there.
Yeah. So here's the thing, y'all. If you're asking about, hey, can I watch this? If I can't be in Orlando, you can watch the Increase Summit on demand. We'll have it up for 7 days after the event. So even if you're not able to watch it that same moment, you'll be able to go back and watch it. Now, you won't be in the room, but you'll have the access. We have the VIP, which has the money list. The money list is worth $1,500. I'm just telling you. And basically, it's a bunch of resources. It's a bunch of free plays so that you don't have to do all the work. We've done all the work for you. So companies that are giving you trade lines and all those different things. So I want to encourage you, if you can be VIP, do VIP. There's a definite opportunity to meet more people in the VIP space versus regular. But all of y'all that are watching, y'all, we want to help motivate you to, just different. So what we're doing is we're giving you 10% off. And I want to give you the code. All you need to use is the code pregame. Use the code pregame and you're getting 10% off. I mean, I'm trying to make sure our people win. And the way that I can make sure you win is by making sure you're in the game. So if you're going to get in the game, put pregame in Eventbrite, you're getting 10% off. And the objective is that I need you to get in the room because a lot of times we don't know what good is because we haven't been exposed. And so I'm trying to get you exposed. So put pregame, get your 10%. Let's rock. Let's get in the room. Let's be in the space. Gene, let me ask you about buying real estate with friends in Burbino. The land that y'all have, how did y'all divide it up? Like, what was the cost? How did you divide it up? Just give them very simple, basic, like help them understand. And also make them understand you don't have to buy land where you live because where you live may be too expensive. You may need to go outside of where you live.
Burbino.
Well, for me, it was pretty easy. We decided that we're equal partners in this, and so our goal is eventually to build a cabin so that it will be a retreat for everybody. So we're in this for the long haul, and not just buying something and having it increase. So having those conversations and making sure that everybody's timeline is matching with everybody else's. That is so key because at one point in time, someone's money may not be where you're wanting it to be. So having those crucial conversations is very important. It doesn't matter because we want to make sure that everybody's included and everybody has a voice with what's going on so that you can move forward. So I always use the example of always utilizing the weakest person in the group and see if we can match their timeline so that we can move forward. Not who has the most money, but who is the weakest link in the whole group and making sure that everybody can move forward. It's to me, it's beautiful because you really know friends until you really start putting your money together. And you know, having drinks together is one thing, but when you can actually trust each other with your funds, and making sure that you can create a legacy for the future is really key.
So let me help y'all kind of get in this piece. Like, so how did you protect the friendship? And I'm kind of giving you a little bit more than what I wanted to. But I need y'all to jump in and not just get all this free game. I need you to be able to use this. And so at the conference, we're going to ensure you're getting practical information like we're trying to do now, not just saying like, this is what we bought, this is what we got. Yeah, and I got this, I got that. We want to give you practical steps. It's a lot of things we're throwing out at you intentionally because we just want you to be like, man, if they're giving us all of this for free, what would they give me if I'm investing? And every Tuesday at 8 o'clock, I'm bringing on different people to kind of share to expand your brain. I'm doing one with Go Big and Go Home in business. It's just every week is going to be a different topic to expand your palette and to get you to understanding and investing in yourself. So with that being said, one of the things that Bino said I thought was so dope and key, he said, if you're buying, let's say a 70, 80, $100,000 property and you're buying it with 4 friends, that's 25K each. But you need to understand what your goal is, your exit strategy. So you got to have an exit strategy. You want to hold this for 3 years? Maybe it's not a year, maybe it's a dollar amount. We bought it for 100. We want it. Once it gets to 250, we sell it. But the question that he also said was the person that's the weakest link, we need to utilize their information as the paradigm how we build a deal. So if that person is me, I'm the weak link, and they're saying, how long do you want to hold it? And I'm like, man, I can only hold this for 2 years. I can only let my $25,000 go out there for 2 years. And they're like, they want to do 5 to 7 years. If they can't all do 2 years, then maybe they need to politely ask me to, maybe this deal isn't going to work out best for you because everybody else is minimum 3. You're 2. We're not willing to go that low. Or maybe we could build around you. Okay, so guys, are we willing to do this for 2 years only? So that's important. Don't start with a guy who's the top dog because he's ready to do it tomorrow. And then that creates conflict and tension because most people don't have the same, our monies don't move the same. Because I have 4 kids in private school. Sean has 1. I think he has triplets on the way with his wife. Barbino has 2. Gene has 3, a daughter in college. So there's all different dynamics that you got to take into consideration. So I want to ask y'all about how important was getting contracts in that agreement. And Sean, what did all y'all can jump in, but Sean, what did you learn when you saw the contracts coming in? Like what was that like? He's got his son in the back. But so just talk about that, because some people, and why people should invest in attorneys, because some people don't want to. They're like, nah, I don't want to spend the money. Like, talk to them about the importance of investing and protecting that relationship by the contract.
Look, I already been through that, so I know that's important. Ain't no way in heck you're not doing that. It needs to be outlined in the operating agreement. So whatever your operating agreement is, so whatever entity they create, all we do is create an entity and we put an operating agreement. And within the operating agreement, it states we're going to hold the property for this amount of time. We're going to start presenting building opportunities around this time. The purpose of the property is for this. It has 3 buyout clauses. The buyout clause is, hey, we'll buy you at this percentage this year, this percentage the following year. And if you want to exit before we build, it gets reduced because now we carry a burden. So we was like, nope, that's what we put on an operating agreement. That's just what it is. Once you put an operating agreement, it's already sealed. And there's no going back and changing that. So you put the business, you put in an LLC, put in whatever structure you want to put it in, have an operating agreement. Once you have that took us like 3 days to figure that out. I'm not even going to lie. It took us 3 whole days trying to figure, like, yo, we got to do this. A lot of questions. Is worth every dollar. I mean, $1,000 will save you headache in the future.
Yeah, get an attorney.
Preventative maintenance.
And somebody asked, we're going to take some questions at the end, the last 5 minutes, while y'all grabbing y'all phone. I know y'all can't watch it and register at the same time, but make sure you put in pregame to get your discount. And if you use the text and it didn't shoot you the link, just go on Eventbrite directly. It's all it's going to do is shoot you a link to Eventbrite. But if it didn't shoot you a link to Eventbrite within a minute or two, just go to Eventbrite, type in Increase Summit in Florida, and then it pops right up. So, Sean, can you talk about your experience as coming in and having to be like, you were kind of the newest one that wasn't really invested in real estate? How was that like? Because somebody's in your shoes. They're like, well, I'm doing good in my career, and I'm hearing people tell me I need to invest in real estate. Like, how was that step, taking that step? What was it like?
It was a little scary at the beginning because you don't know what to expect, especially when you're coming in with a group. It's kind of scary, but it's also kind of exciting because now you're embarking on something that you never tried before. So it's the what ifs, the possibilities, that shows itself. So coming in, it was just first trying to understand what everybody else wanted to do, what everybody else was trying to, their goals. And, that's when, it kind of, put us all at ease, especially when we said, hey, this is going to be the agreement that we're going to put in place. This is what's going to, detail everything. And this is what's going to make it. So it gave you that comfort that, I'm okay in this deal, in this environment.
Yeah, incredibly important to make sure y'all know where y'all going, what y'all doing. Will the summit be recorded for replay? Yes, you'll have 7 days after the summit to be able to watch. You need to grab your tickets. We want to make sure that we have a well-represented room of people who are ready to learn and grow and be successful, and that requires an investment. So thanks for that. That's a great piece. I want to ask you guys about, as we wrap this up, and then we'll take some questions for about 5 minutes. Like, have you all ever invested in events before, and like, what was the return and why people should invest in events? Because I know a lot of minority communities, we oftentimes don't always invest in conferences. We invest in church conferences, but not all the time in business conferences that are trying to help us grow. And some people may be people of faith, and so they rely on the church and their faith, but they're not attaching their faith with, I would say, the skill sets or the tools or the information. Can you talk about some of your experiences investing in the business space, conferences, and what type of return it's provided for you?
Bino, it seems like you want to talk. Bino, you good, Bino?
Yeah, I'll jump in on this one. Actually, every conference that I ever attended or registered, doesn't matter what the cost was, I always get 1,000% return, if not more, because you're actually paying for knowledge.
Right.
If you actually go to college or school or time, you don't have to make the mistakes that we've had to learn, and you basically get a speed pass to get a lot quicker than what you need to go. So it would be a shame if you don't invest in yourself and getting the return that you need. One thing for sure, when PD puts anything together, you're always going to get real value in return.
Yeah, there's no bigger investment than investing in yourself and investing in your knowledge, investing in your growth. I mean, you can't let your money's not going to do anything if you don't have the knowledge behind it to make your money do something. So all you're doing is investing in yourself and investing in your future. So I've always got benefits from them.
Look, I used to be a person like, I'm not going to no conferences. And then all past couple of years, I've been at every conference and spent every dollar. I was like, I want to learn as much as possible. I used to say conferences suck until I went to a few that actually did suck. And then I realized my mentor is like, the reason why they suck because you went there with the wrong mind frame. You didn't go there to extract what you need to extract, and you never worked the room. So because you didn't work the room and you didn't extract anything, and you went there for one person, and you went there just listen to one person give you value, instead of listen to everybody else, it messed you up. Now you tell me it's a couple $100, boom, I'm buying it. It's just, I don't know who's in the room. I don't know what dime. I got one play, I made $5,000 from it. Like, it just, I'm gonna just stop. I'm gonna let y'all.
And the thing about it is, sometimes we go into rooms because I've been in conferences where I'm like, I don't know the guy that's speaking. I never heard of him. I don't see him on social. He's not major. And then you listen to him and you're like, whoa. And that's, I kind of think some of you are in the face space, and some of the names that are coming out for this conference, you're like, I don't know the name. But just because you don't know the name doesn't mean they don't have the work. And so that's something that is a big hindrance in our community, because we oftentimes jump at who is who, not recognizing that that person that you don't know is probably someone you should know. And when you get exposed to people you don't know, you also finally get connected to their network of people that can help you get to the next level. So that's what I'm telling you. I want to see y'all in the comment section telling me when y'all plan to register. I want to take some questions for the last 5 minutes, and then we're out of here, y'all. What's the average price? Just throw your comments in there. It should populate to us. There's a question that came in. What's the average price for an attorney?
I mean, depending on what documents you're getting, I mean, it could be anywhere between $1,000 and $1,500, depending on what they're doing. And some of them already have pre-templates. You just got to talk to them. They're going to kind of interview you and say, hey, what do you want to kind of have in this contract? What are you trying to do? And they just go based off that and insert what they insert for you, and they send it for you to review. You review it. But most of my stuff, I spent $1,000, $1,500 for them. That's for me. I don't know, just in general.
I would just say, you pay what you get. So I usually, if you, I when it comes to contracts,
I'm not
I'm
playing.
pay, yeah,
I'm paying. I'm
it
paying.
you have to make sure that it's an attorney that you have a good rapport with, and that they're going to have your best interest, and they're actually going to execute exactly what you're trying to do. So I know for us, I'm like I said, there's one attorney that I always go to, and actually PD will say it's, it's his attorney because he actually put me on her. But I have to say, you have to make sure that you have to utilize someone that you actually trust and that you have a good rapport with, and that they're knowledgeable, because you're actually paying the same way with the conference. You're using their knowledge to represent you, and at the end of the day, you have to go with the best, especially when you're trying to do something without having something to bite you in the butt later on.
And that's a very, 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 very important truth. You want to make sure that you're building relationships with attorneys. The more work the attorney has to do, the more it costs. Having answers to your question will save you money. So that's a very true thought. You need to be prepared. You need to do some homework. I always like YouTube University. And although that is not a lawyer degreed person, but you can get a lot of insight up front to begin. They said, how do you feel about such platforms such as LegalZoom that's essentially set up your LLC? I have heard horror stories about people, and I've heard LegalZoom has also been sued for not actually using attorneys, from what I have heard. But I prefer to use a local attorney that I built a rapport with, that I can pick up the phone, that I can address questions with, so that I can make sure that my needs are being met by a person that I can identify with a face. And so that's critically important.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, because most attorneys are gonna set you up in a space that not only they're probably gonna give you leads, but majority of the time attorneys have a network of connections that's gonna help you. So you might find a deal that you can't fund. Their attorney may be sitting on $250,000. Like, well, I invest with you because I've seen your work, I've seen your track record, and I've seen that you take time to pay to get contracts. That might help you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, very true. Any other questions? And then we're going to run, and then we'll be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m., giving you an opportunity to be a part with this conversation. I think it's going to be helpful. Each week we're doing a new topic. I need you to go register right now. Let me know in the comments you're registering, because it's very important that you get in the room. Don't wait last minute to buy your tickets. That's what people always like to do. It's better to knock it out get your tickets, know you got it, know you're in the room, and you're done. So use the code pregame to get 10% off. It's going to help you. It's going to help you be successful. Looking forward to seeing you there. Will there be a networking session or an event? Absolutely. The whole purpose of the event, y'all, is for you to get in the room. I want to tell you why I'm doing this, and I'm going to close with this. I went to a session and it was $5,000 to get in, and that's where I met Marcus Rozier, who was teaching on online funnels. I had never heard of him before, and I'm like, oh God, he's a speaker. Who is he? Never heard of him. And when I heard him, I was like, wow, like I didn't even know that was a level of business that you could do, because I was going off of who I knew in the room. But just from being in the room, I met him, which helped me meet a whole bunch of other people, which created an opportunity now for me to have some relationships that I would have never had I not been in the room. Now, getting him for an event or his course is like $3,000, I don't know, $5,000, some $10,000, but your investment is $179. It's a mere fraction of what you would pay to sit with him one-on-one. And so my objective when I sat in this room, I'm like, man, number one, very few people in this room, I want us in this room. I want as many of us to be able to, and I realize there are some of us that we gauge our success by the fact that we're making more money than our parents.
That's right.
Without recognizing you're not really that successful.
They must forget about inflation.
Yeah. And so
they're now doing a 30-year mortgage is now a 40-year mortgage now. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
They're doing bank products now. It's a 30-year mortgage now, 40 years.
Yeah. And so what my thing was like, we need to get people in, and I've been to some conferences that have been great and some conferences that have been like, okay, I felt like everybody kind of just talked about how great they were. And I left there saying, I didn't learn anything except that they're winning. I don't want that. I want you to come and be able to say like, man, they gave me so much for $179. Really, this is the last event I'm doing. It's called Low Ticket. That's at that low ticket price point. But this is my give back because I feel like if I never took you to Roof Chris, you'll never know levels of stakes, right? Like I think Roof Chris is good, and then I think Charlie's is here. You may think Del Frisco's is here, whatever the case is. But you would not know if someone did not introduce you to it. So the thing is, most of us are going to pass up on opportunities. If I bring you an opportunity to invest in $3,500 mastermind group, you're gonna be like, whoa, that's way too much. But at least if I introduce you to something for $179, you're like, whoa, I got so much value. You won't be scared of the next thing. Charlie's is killing Roof Cliff. I agree, 1,000%. I think Charlie's has the best steak, period. I don't eat any steaks but Charlie's.
Yeah, I gotta go to Hillstone with that. Or STK. Y'all tripping. STK and Hillstone got that beat. Y'all tripping. Y'all know I love it.
Charlie's got that.
Man, they ain't dry aging their steak. Man, let's go back to real estate. Let's get on.
So with that being said, y'all, I want to take glad you're registering, sponsoring two young entrepreneurs. I think they're going to find it incredibly important. Will there be a networking session during the event? All through the event, it's time to network. That's what you need to be there for. It's there to meet people. You need to be there to meet people and grab connections, because sometimes your friends aren't thinking like that to get in the room. So that's why you need to get around people who are willing to invest money. That's what you want to build partnerships with, like-minded people. So with that being said, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Tune in next Tuesday. Tell your friends to tune in with us. It's going to be killer. I want you to make sure if you have any needs of needing your homes fixed, estimates done, summer kitchens built, bathroom renovations, Sean, CNC, they do it. They do it. They've done our church for many, many, many years. Gene Greer, Real Estate Full Circle. You should follow him right after you get off of here. All the information that he does is free game. Sometimes I'm wondering, like, are you giving so much away for free? People don't recognize the value that he's presenting online. And then Barbino, Painting with a Twist. If you want to have a great time, church fellowship, bring your whole church there as a group. They have group discounts for those, and it's at a great time. It's Christian owned. He has one in Claremont, one in Dr. Phillips. All right, y'all. You know, that's pretty major. So I want y'all to go and support. We do a lot of date nights there. We do a lot of engagement parties there. We do a lot of church events there. It's a great thing to do for your church. You don't have to bear the burden or the logistics. They handle all of that, and your people can come there and be a part. So you have two locations you can go to, Dr. Phillips or Claremont. They're both amazing locations and both safe. Ain't got to be looking over your shoulder and nothing like that. So I wanted to make sure you plug into them. And he's been featured so many times on Channel 2 News for what they're doing on Painting with Twist is incredible. So I want to make sure you have Sean's information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drop Sean's DM me if you need Sean's info. I'll send you CNC's information if you need any work done. Get estimates. Estimates are free. Estimates are free. So make sure you take care of that. So listen, y'all, register. Go do it right now while you hang up. $179. You spend that on shoes. I know I spent that on some Ken Griffey's the other day, but it ain't gonna take me very far. Not as information's gonna take me. So I want you to register. Your success is in your own investment, and what you invest in yourself is how you become successful. All right, y'all. Take care. Peace. See y'all next Tuesday.